Yeah, I turned off
You
my
can see me?
Wi-Fi too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see you. I just
Yeah.
like I don't know why
Okay.
my camera's not working.
Okay.
Or oh,
Maybe
yeah.
echo. Equity. Here we are. Yeah.
Sorry.
Finally. Yes. How are you? No,
I'm
don't
good.
worry.
How's it
I'm
going?
great. So
Oh.
I'm doing great. So let me do just a small introduction of your work, and then we can start this great interview. So your works, they are a word apart. They are like a whole other dimension, and you work mainly with charcoal, right?
Mhm.
In which you create overwhelming, chaotic scenes in which you puzzle our brain to discover every little part of it, which is really interesting and funny. And as we already talked about it, I feel like I should spend like more than half an hour in front of each of your paintings to discover each detail, each part of it, which is incredible. So yeah, you portray crowded places, usually
Mhm.
parties, like familiar scenes in which we can see a gathering of people. And I guess in this moment, they might feel a little bit uneasy because we're living in a social distancing period, and maybe
Yeah.
your works, they are
I mean,
so full of people. Yeah.
they definitely have like a
Like,
different interpretation to them now, interestingly enough.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's like
Like
yeah.
it's perfect to be talking about it at this your work at this precise moment, right?
Yeah.
And you also include a lot of humor and comic points in your paintings. And we always feel like, personally, I feel like there's always something that is going to happen in any minute that will get us unprepared, because they have this kind of always growing tension, which
Mhm.
is I find very interesting. So before anything, I'd like to thank you to be with us today to talk about your practice, and I'm very pleased to introduce you to our audience and to announce your upcoming show here at the gallery next fall.
Oh,
So,
thanks so much for
uh,
having me on.
thank
Thanks so
you.
much for inviting me. Yeah.
So I'd like to start the conversation with you walking us through
Mhm.
your artistic formation. So can you introduce yourself a bit and talk about your education?
Yeah. So my name is Anna Park, and
Yeah, thank you.
I guess like my art education kind of began. I guess formally it was more so in when I was living in Utah. Like that was like my formidable years. I spent 8 years
Okay.
there, and I actually got taught by uh, a guy called Bruce Robertson, and he does a figure drawing, like after school figure drawing and painting courses, and that's kind of where I like learned pretty much a lot of things I know now, and like the love for like charcoal and drawing too. So, but I don't know, I guess like it's most people, I think most artists, they're like they've been drawing or painting ever since they were little.
They know.
Um,
They
yeah,
can
yeah.
remember. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. It was kind of like always around, and I was super grateful to have like my mom to like to be supporting that and like kind of like believing in um I don't know, my venture throughout this whole process, I guess. So it was
So
yeah,
you
and
have
then I came.
the support of your family every from the beginning.
Right. I mean, like I think in the beginning they didn't realize like it would maybe I would pursue it like this is like all in or nothing kind of. I frankly wasn't really good at anything else. So I think when I
Okay.
was planning to go to school here, I think it was like I think a lot of parents like have like, anxiety or like worries, but like, I was
Yeah,
lucky
of
enough that
course.
they didn't really deter me away from that. And I was like pretty stubborn about kind of getting out of there too. So yeah, that's kind of how I came
Okay.
here. Yeah.
So then you moved to New York, right?
Yeah, yeah. I moved here maybe like 5 years ago. I don't, 4. Yeah, yeah. So I'm fairly new. I would say like I think I still like I can't
You're
believe that I'm here. You know what I mean?
you're 25,
So,
right? If I'm
uh, I'm 23 actually.
three?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
I'm sorry. I can go now. Like it's,
No,
you're
no,
like get the
you're
fuck
great.
out of here. Like it's,
Yeah.
I'm
So you
turning
moved when you
24
were
in this.
18,
Yeah, yeah. I moved when I was just
18.
starting out undergrad. Yeah, so like right after
Okay.
I graduated high school. So I was like 18, 19, and then yeah, I'm turning 24 later this month. So technically I can say
Ah,
I don't
okay.
know. What is it?
Yeah, yeah, 24. Yeah. Let's just say 24. I'm
Wow.
24 as well.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So yeah, so then in New York you did the New York Academy, right?
Yeah, well, I originally moved here to go to Pratt Institute for my undergrad,
Okay.
for the first 2 years, and then I kind of stumbled on upon to New York Academy at an opening, and then I met a friend there that kind of introduced me to the school, and that's how I started going there for the certificate program and then the grad program after that. So yeah, yep.
Okay.
I guess that's like
Okay.
my weird like timeline of things.
Yeah.
Having moved here.
No, but
Wow.
it's amazing. So I find it really interesting the way you play with the limits between abstraction and representation in your works.
Mhm.
So it's very hard to draw the line between one and another. So I would like to ask you if you could describe your work process in terms of composing the image as well as the technical approach you have. Like
Mhm.
we already talked about it, you use charcoal as the principal material, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if you could talk about a bit the relationship you have with this medium, would be
yeah.
great.
Oh, yeah. I guess the medium of charcoal kind of like it was always around for me. I mean, like I was taught in with like just charcoal on newsprint paper for like ever since like I started to take classes back in Utah, and I think I don't know, it was one of those things that I never really got tired of. It was so accessible and like, very forgiving medium. So, um,
Okay.
and also it was just like such an immediate thing that I didn't have to like really prep anything. It was kind of like you put up the paper and then you
It
start
was an
going.
instant.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I guess I like that, I don't know, sense of immediacy. And I like the lack of patience I have. I'm just like, oh, like let's get started. I don't
Let's
know.
get things done.
Yeah, let's go. I don't know. And I guess with process wise, in the past it was a lot of like I still collect a lot of online source imagery, and like I have like a like composite of those on my computer, and I'll just
Okay.
I'll have like a million of those, and probably most of them I won't use, but then it'll just be like bits and pieces that I'll like gravitate towards or I'll think that are interesting. And then from that point on, I do these like loose sketches and start from there. I don't really like plan the sketches
The
out per
whole
se
thing.
because I'd rather the exploration to be like on the drawing and like keeping the freshness
Okay.
of it, I guess. Been It's been interesting because I've been trying to kind of wean away from the sources too much, like sticking to the um just because I felt like it was getting a little bit like I don't know, the spontaneity was getting lost when I was like referencing the image too much for me. And so I kind of just use it as like a jumping off point in order to like get like a maybe like a general composition down. and then I'll go on to the work itself.
The
So
real
yeah,
canvas and the
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean like there's like no other feeling than just like having like a blank sheet of paper or like a panel, and it's just I don't know, I get too excited that
it can be
I don't want to plan.
it can be terrifying and
Oh,
incredible at the same
sure.
time, right?
Yeah, because if you like I'm thinking like, oh man, if I fuck this up, then I just like wasted this whole I mean, not wasted, but it's kind of just like, man, it had all this potential and just like
And
the
then
possibilities of anything, and I just like, yeah. But I feel like in between, I make like maybe like 20 awful drawings, and then like one I'm like okay with, and then it's
then you
like,
proceed. Okay.
right, right. It's like the yeah. I don't know, cycle of madness, I guess. But I guess everybody does that, I'm assuming, and within their practice too. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, you just start with the guiding lines, basically, right? So the
Yeah,
sketches,
yeah.
the studies, they are basically the guiding lines of the whole composition. And then when you are in front of the blank canvas, the great canvas, and then you go until. And we were talking the other another time that you sometimes don't know when to stop and to if you're um, if you're okay with it, if you're not okay with it, like you don't have much of a
Yeah,
point,
it's like
right, where to
right. It's the hardest for me, I think, to kind of know when to stop.
decide.
'Cause-
Yeah, decide
exactly.
when
And
it's.
like, yeah, because I think the beginning of each piece is kind of like, non-committal, just like express, like, I don't know. You can just pretty much attack the piece as like I would say it's like the most active like first couple sessions of the drawing is kind of when I don't know, you're just like putting all these like gestural marks and like geometric shapes, and then kind of as the piece progresses along, I have to remind myself to kind of like slow down a little bit and step back, because I when I don't do that, I find that the marks become so like repetitive, or just like I'm not really thinking about what I'm putting down. I'm kind of just like beating the dead horse. And
Okay.
so yeah, it's really it's like it's been now that we're like there's I'm pretty much afforded a lot more time to just like sit with the works. Like it's been interesting to see how the shift has
In your
yeah
perception.
taken place.
Like,
Yeah, yeah. And but I wish there would be someone that would come and just like make me stop working on the piece. Just like
okay,
you're
you're
done.
done.
Yeah. Now off
You're
to the
done.
next one.
Next.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank
Because
you.
it's like
Next.
right, it's like I just want to just be like, oh, I'll just do like a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then I end up just like overworking the whole thing, and yeah. But I don't know.
I may disagree with that, but that's okay.
Yeah, I guess.
So, so you're saying, the whole excessive uh, characteristic in your practice, and I was saying that no matter how much we stare into your works, we feel like there's
Mhm.
always some point that that it's to get it's still to be discovered. So I would like to know where do you get your references and what's your main inspiration, if you have any, or if you can talk about the your inspiration in general.
Oh, sorry. I think you like
For,
got cut off a little bit in the beginning.
oh my God, really?
Sorry.
You didn't listen?
No, I
Oh my
think I
God.
got like bits and
Can you hear
pieces
me
of it.
now?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry. I just want to, yeah,
Oh my
understand
God, I'm
the
sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I
No,
think
I
it
was
was
saying
maybe
that
my connection.
the oh my God. There's always it's always a little bit of chaos this life stuff. But
Sorry, I
okay.
feel like it's mostly
We
my
keep on
fault.
trying. We keep on trying. Let's make it happen. No, I was just asking about your references, as you said
Mhm.
that you have your bank, your data of imagery, because we see a lot of information in your painting. So I would like to talk about a bit your inspiration. Where did you get your inspiration? If there's something in particular, or if it's always open to everything.
Uh, I guess I can't really pinpoint like if it's a certain aspect. Like I admire artists that they have this like very like almost concrete idea, and then that's where they derive their work off of. And right now I think I'm just trying to parse together like where mine comes from, like looking at all the pieces. And I think initially it was a lot to do with kind of me having moved to New York City, which was such like a 180 of an environment
Mm.
from back home, and kind of I don't know, like just the vitality of the city, and just like the energy, and having to kind of re interpret that into like these like humorous, almost like slash violent scenes. And now I think with the newer works, it's kind of like evolved into maybe just kind of letting the the like explicit imagery out, but more so just like allowing the narrative to be seen with the marks and the just abstractions more so. Um, yeah.
Yeah,
So
you're
I guess I
passing
didn't really
through
answer.
a
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, you're passing you're transforming, right? Because these recent new works, they are more abstract than representative, right? They are more
Yeah. Yeah, they're like kind of verging on the lines, like, and I guess I'm just trying to find my own
balance.
like language, yeah,
Mm.
balance for it, because I come from such a figurative background, and like I love looking at figurative work, and it's just but I'm like there was always like that like part of me that was wondering like can I emote this like the same kind of narrative, or like or emotions without the figures,
The figures.
or just a
Hmm.
suggestion, right? And I don't know, it's been like one of the hardest like they're taking a lot longer too, because I felt like in the past, like my with the work I was making, it was like everything was felt more linear, like I knew like where how things were supposed to be
Okay.
resolved, and like where to end, and it was kind of just like, okay, I'll do the portrait and I'll do the caricatures, and then I'll make
You
them
were more
be doing
divided.
this. Yeah, yeah, and now it seems like what the fuck am I? It's
You mix
purely just
everything.
like, yeah, I'm like,
Oh my God. Okay. 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 I think I'm losing you.
no. Oh,
No,
you are?
you're here. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Um,
okay.
yeah.
I think I lost your last phrase.
Oh, what did I just? I was just like talking about like I don't know. What am I doing? Well, that's like the whole question, right? Like just trying to find balance. And
Okay.
yeah, it's been also a bit interesting to kind of like see people, like I don't know, the few people that I have shown like the newer works to, it seems like they're like not as a fast of a read as like the old.
The
I'm
old
hoping
pieces.
like keep the the viewer to be like standing in front of it just as long, in order to kind of like get the still the same kind of energy from it.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
it's
this
also,
was
I don't know. I
my
mean,
next question. This was supposed to be my next question. Like, if you
oh
have
yeah.
any um, particular wish, like any particular emotion that you wish to provoke at the viewer when they are in front of your work, if you want to evoke something in particular.
Um, I don't know. I mean, like, you mean evoke from the viewer, like, or what I'm trying to.
Yeah, if you want to, what do you expect Are you there?
Yeah. Wait. Oh, you were
Okay.
frozen for a second. Sorry. It's just like,
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, the internet. No, I was asking if you do you have any expectations to what the viewer should feel or think when looking at your works.
um, I don't know. I mean, because at the end of the day, like as much as you like once it's out there, like people will respond to it however they like. I mean, I've gotten like a range of kind of responses from looking at the work regarding like either people are like kind of like I don't know, not disgusted, but they're kind of like it's a bit off-putting just because the my older works were a lot of like around around like grotesque and these like kind of
Hmm.
weird caricatures or like very like violent
Distorted
scenes.
figures, yeah.
Yeah, and or like
Yeah.
other people be thinking it's like a more celebratory scene. And I think at that point I like to see it as it's more revealing of like someone's like where their headspace is, I guess, when they see the work. So I can't really expect um I don't know, like, because, yeah, I am constantly thinking about what people will think looking at the work because I feel like it's more of a participatory experience. Like, I'm making the work in order to be, like, shared and that relationship, I think, like, to acknowledge that, but not getting it into your head too much when you're, like, producing work. But, yeah, I guess I don't know. The question to that question, it's just like I'm just hoping the at least for the most current work, it's the like it still retains the same sort of like frenetic energy as my older work, but without the kind of like like quick humor to it now. So yeah, I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay. So
Sorry.
there's a question here. What about
Mhm.
Goya as reference? Do you?
Uh, I don't reference Goya
No?
all that much. I do
No?
like Goya. I mean, I
Mm.
wouldn't know. I don't wouldn't say I'm like I reference it so much. So, but I
Okay.
am a big fan. So,
I yeah. Sometimes I when we last talk, there's this thought that came to my mind that Muybridge photographies sometimes
uh-huh.
when like the photographer of the last century, at the end of
Mhm.
the 18th century, that that he was trying to capture the movement of horses and everything. And
Yeah.
some I don't know why some of your parts of your works remind me of that kind of experimentation, like to capture the movement, to capture that kind of action, which I don't know. It was my a thought of personal thought. Um, So yeah, people asked to show a bit of your studio. I guess we could
Oh.
do like a little bit of
Uh, but I didn't clean the
studio.
studio.
Who cares?
It's like I know I understand, but it's like oh man, like I okay, sure, yeah. So I'm just warning everybody. It's not
No,
the
people
not
are
the
interested in
prettiest
seeing your
thing.
work. People are not going to
Please
be
don't judge
worried
me
about.
too much. But yeah, let me see. Yeah.
If you could
Mm,
show us a bit,
oh,
so we people will see what we are talking about, and if you could
yeah.
just
So I'll just do like a round. Yeah, it's pretty gross. I think the last time I spoke with you, I showed you
yeah.
like
I guess this
these.
is how artist studio should look like, right?
Like just
Like
all the
all
piles of
messy.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, don't even
I
look
guess
at this
this
part.
is.
Like it's, uh, um, yeah. I mean, oh, I guess
So
this was like the first piece that I kind of did, that was like more verging into the abstraction. And that was what
okay,
inspired like the most current body of work now,
okay,
I guess. If you guys
great.
can see, it's like me. Um,
Yeah, it's great.
and this is the one I'm working on now, which I don't
Okay.
know how to feel about quite yet. But I did like, I'm trying to do these like small studies, I guess,
Oh, that's
before.
interesting. Yeah. So the
Yeah.
study would be like the whole, the complete work, like different from the first drawings that you do,
Uh-huh.
which are just the main lines, right? This would be like the whole thing, like.
Oh, yeah, yeah. This is, I guess, just to get the like basic value shapes and then the kind of like where I want things to go. This is not like a tried and true, like I base it too much off of this because I find that uh yeah, it's like, but then again, like I like some of these marks that because on the smaller works I can just do them so quickly. So it's like, oh, how do I retain that kind of freshness with the larger works? But and I have yet to do like a square piece because I find that format like one of the hardest things to do
A
personally. I don't know
square.
why. Yeah. So I was just like, this is what's gonna
You're
happen
going that
today.
direction right now. Okay,
Yeah.
great. So
Yeah.
I was looking through the questions people
Mhm.
sent us. So there's one, Anna. Does any of the imagery consciously could have any personal life reference? This is
Does
interesting.
any, what was the
Like
question? Does any of
if
the,
you have
oh,
if there's any personal life reference.
um, actually, I was just thinking about this when I was on my way to the studio, and I feel like when I look at the most current works now, it seems, with everything, a lot of the current events going on right now, it's unavoidable that I think it affects your mental state, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like, I've been told also that my works maybe look a bit more violent, I guess, in the way I've been drawing them, and
The last
um,
ones you say?
yeah, just like
Okay.
just the marks, which I thought was interesting because I thought my older works with the caricatures were a bit more
Violent.
violent. Yeah, but I guess it was more overt, and now maybe the marks are just reading as more like of that energy. So um, I guess maybe it was subconsciously I'm gravitating towards these images too recently, with like uh, just like groups of people kind of coming together and um, but yeah, I guess it's hard not to be affected by the
Yeah,
current
I guess everybody felt
climate.
the the collateral effects of this thing, but I guess as in the condition of artists, I guess your sensibility towards this kind of situation is it's bigger. So of course it will end up affecting your work, even if it's not that much, but it will eventually cause anything, right? I
Yeah,
guess. I guess this is my point of view. So there are
yeah.
some questions here.
Oh,
Did the Ouija book of photos have any impact? Have any impact on
oh
you?
yeah. Hi, Matt. He actually gave me a book of Ouija black and white photography, and I actually still have that. Yeah. I didn't know about his like distortion series, and I think at the time like it was like I was looking through it a lot for inspiration. So thanks, Matt.
So Tendai, our artist, are asking if you are inspired by graffiti art in any way.
Um,
No.
Maybe not directly, but my studio is in Bushwick right now, and like driving here or on the way here, it's like pretty
You see
much
a lot
so.
of.
Yeah, I love the fact that the neighborhood is like covered in graffiti or murals. There's a lot of weird murals around here too, and I'm
Weird.
like super weird. And I'm like, how do these people think of these kind of stuff? But yes, 'cause I tend to be uh get affected by the
Okay. Yeah.
surroundings a lot. So yeah,
Yeah. The imagery in any way will enter your subconscious. So,
yeah.
other questions. Do you fixate your work? It's very difficult to store and handle charcoal drawings, especially in large size. Yeah, this is a curiosity of mine as well.
Oh,
How do
do I fix
you?
them? Oh yeah, so I would actually get them. I just started doing this because I used to just use the spray fixative with the cans, and it like never fixes the drawing at all. Just because if you have like a sheer amount of charcoal on it, it'll like automatically rub off, and no matter how many layers you put on. So there's a company in Brooklyn called Alchemy Paints, and they do finishes on sculptures or paintings, and they have done dry medium works before.
Okay.
So after I'm done with the works, like I send it there, and then they spray it,
Okay.
which and it sets the drawing. Like you can like pretty much rub your hand against it, and you can't
And it
really.
won't not won't ruin
It's
it.
honestly like a life changing. Yeah,
Yeah, I can
I
imagine.
didn't know it was like possible.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's great. Yeah, but so last questions. Our studio. Are you there?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Anna?
I was
Oh yeah.
like,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
No, our studio visit in early March seems like a long time ago. How have you settled into your new space and a decent space to move into prayer like that? People are asking how your
Oh,
connection
my
with
new.
the new studio.
Oh, with the new studio? Yeah, it's like I love it. I don't know. I mean, I got ex extremely lucky, I think, with finding it before everything. It was maybe like a
Lockdown.
week. So yeah, I'm super grateful for it every day that I can come here and
Great,
work. Yeah, but
great,
yeah, and I like the neighborhood. I don't know. There's a lot of artists around too, which is nice. Yeah.
great. So, people, what is the fixative called again? Yeah, these
I don't
technical
know.
questions.
I don't know what the fixative is called, but they just do like I'm sure they probably maybe I can ask, but I don't know what it is either. I just want to know the the mixture, I
The
guess,
result.
because yeah. I mean, like I just want yeah, because I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's like not that complicated of like what the mixture is, but I'd like to know so I can use it myself. But I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah,
In the future, yeah.
yeah.
So, people, do you have any more questions? Because we're about to hit 40 minutes talk, which it's incredible for me.
I'm just
Um,
rambling. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, it was incredible to get to know a bit better your practice. So, questions. Do you think your work is slowly returning to figurative, or do you see yourself gravitating more towards abstraction?
Um, hmm. I really don't know. I mean, right now, like as of right now, I'm more gearing in the abstract realm, whatever that I don't know. But I feel like I'll probably go back and forth, and I don't really believe that I have to subscribe to either one because I think like I keep looking at my older works like in the studio, and like I know exactly how I felt making them, and I enjoyed it a lot, and I don't think I can ever get the I don't know, my figurative roots out of me. So, and I also don't know what type of work I'm going to be making in like a couple months or so. So,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
still
that's a
a mystery.
yeah, yeah. It's like I kind of wish I knew, but then I don't know. I mean, right now it's like I'm really interested in abstraction for how challenging it is and and like I don't know, I've never it's taking a lot longer to make the work, and I find that
Oh,
kind of
really?
interesting. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So
So your time, your connection, your time your process is it's always is evolving also, right? I guess
yeah,
maybe.
yeah. And it's a bit I guess so impatient that I'm like, what? Why isn't this done already? But it's I have to just remind myself like just calm
Keep
down
down,
and
keep calm
yeah, yeah,
yourself,
just
Hannah.
make
Everything is going
exactly.
to
I'm like,
go.
it's fine. I'll just smoke like
Yeah,
60 cigarettes and it'll be, So, but yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if that answered the
So,
question.
I see some connections with your work in Francis Bacon. Yes, I would like to have said that before and I forgot it. Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. The deformation of the bodies, I guess. Do you see some connections, or you
Yeah.
don't? Mm.
I mean, I guess I've been told that a couple of times, and I love Francis Bacon's work. Right now, I don't know if I'm looking at his work directly, but I guess he's like he has a soft spot, like special place in my
Always
heart.
there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but yeah.
Great. Oh my God, I can't wait to see the works that will be here for the show. I'm super excited.
Oh
Really,
man,
really nice.
I'll try to make it good. I don't know. We'll see.
Of course you will. I don't
Yeah.
have any doubt about it. So, people, you have any more questions? Otherwise, we can, uh, yeah, Francis Bacon sold for a lot.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, people are asking about the painting.
What?
Any intention to ever work in color? Great,
Hmm.
great question. No.
I mean, never say never, right? I mean, I don't know. Like I think I just have to find a way where it makes sense for why I'm doing it. I want to be doing it with intent and um 'cause like I paint like in the past or like secretively at home and rarely people get to see it. Um but right now like I guess what I'm focusing on maybe doesn't involve color for what I'm trying to convey, but I would be interested in. I bought like a set of color pastels and they've just been sitting here and I'm just like,
Just waiting for the
okay,
right
there'll be
moment.
a day. But
Then
maybe,
I
I
will
don't know,
use it. Uh,
in the middle of the
so,
night and start.
uh, so, what's the range of your source material? I don't know if I'm quite sure if I
Oh,
got the
hi,
question.
Anthony. Um, Range of my source material? It really depends. Like it's a lot of it is just Google searches, and a lot of it is is yeah, mostly Google searches or like I'll freeze frame from like YouTube videos, or people will send me things, or it can be like I don't know, little snippets of like conversations I listen to. I don't know, from interviews, and I'm like, oh, that would be cool. Yeah, I don't really have like extensive search. I think the internet has been
It's
like a
life. It's like
wonderful, yeah,
internet. Yeah.
yeah. There's so much stuff out there, so yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
infinite. Yeah. So I guess we could end here. What do you think? Guess we talked a
Sure.
lot. I guess we talked a lot about your wonderful practice, and I'm very excited for the show. Can't wait to it.
Oh,
And yeah, thank you very much, Anna, for joining us today. It
thank you
was
for
really
having me.
incredible,
Yeah.
and we are literally um, super super excited to for the your solo show here.
Yeah, me
So
too.
see you
Yeah,
soon.
and
Hopefully
hopefully
here.
someday,
Hope
yeah, someday I can meet you
yeah.
guys in
Hopefully
person.
you exactly.
Yeah,
Hopefully if coronavirus allows us,
yeah.
you'll be able to come. That would be incredible. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. But Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much for having me on and
Thank
talking
you
with
very
me. Yeah.
much, and see you soon. And
Yeah.
have a great day of work, I imagine.
Oh, you too. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Stay
Thank
safe.
you.
Yeah.
Hey,
Bye.
you too. Bye bye. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.